Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Soul Centered CEO Show featuring my beautiful and fabulous friend, Lindsay Smith. Lindsay, I'm so glad to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
It's a beautiful conversation that we've had now for, I don't know, since January. We were just talking about being in Cabo, of how this dream and this vision kind of has been unfolding so beautifully and so magically. And while we were together in January, you also had a big dream. Obviously, you have been a incredibly successful and powerful business owner, teacher, mentor, and the philosophy around your business has been of growth, of scaling, of expansion. And you also knew that you wanted to make a change in your life, right? As a lot of us do. And even though this business that you had created had been so incredibly successful, you had decided at the time that you wanted to shift a little bit out of the day-to-day workings of the management side of your business and really take some time to see the world, to travel and spend time doing all these crazy adventures. And then 2020 happened.
Here comes COVID.
Right? And here comes COVID. And so what I'd love for you to share is a little bit about that business model that you created that was incredibly beautiful in terms of supporting your clients, building a beautiful team of people that you loved working with, and then how you kind of shifted out of that day to day and then deciding to really like take this leap into a new chapter, a new season. I'd love for our listeners to hear that because I think it's important to see what other people have done in terms of just making choices, like making decisions and choices that honor your truth and your dreams and your vision. So we'd love to hear more about that.
So I started as a solopreneur and a mental health therapist back in 2020 is when I started. That's not true. 2010.
Yeah, I was like, wait, go
January
back.
of 2010. You're like, wait, you just, no. January of 2010, that's when I started. And I just started by myself, but I loved helping people. I was working specifically with teenagers at the time, which is what all my experience had been with before then. I loved helping people and I loved building my business. And so it ended up growing really quickly, way faster than I ever expected. And so I was like a year in and I was like, well, now I have all these clients who want to come. And I was working crazy like then, how I would not recommend, like 6 days a week. I mean, just insane amount of hours. But I couldn't I could not take any more clients on, but I didn't want to turn the clients away. So I was like, well, I'll just hire people and they can just do, exactly what I do and it'll be great. And, I'm a therapist. So I didn't come from any business background, any management background. It was insane. I was horrible at managing people. I had no idea. Like I honestly thought they would just do what I did. Like I thought they would just do exactly like me, and I didn't understand why that wasn't happening. And I didn't understand why they didn't like the micromanaging. It was just a whole hot mess. But I got a lot of feedback, and I got to learn how to shift things. So I got to learn, how to be a better boss. And that was something I learned over time and got to help people really understand how to work within my system. And so that was what helped me to grow so quickly is I created systems and processes so that we could grow. And I was able to open a second center. We now have dozens of team members and it's so much fun. They're fabulous. And it's because of these systems, these processes that we put in place that have allowed us to grow in that way and as quickly and as big as we have. And at the same time, a little while ago, I was like, well, I feel like I've gotten so much out of this. I've gotten so much from the clients that I got to serve individually in therapy. I've gotten so much from the team that I got to work with. I learned so much and I was kind of ready for the next thing. And so what ended up happening is I ended up hiring someone to run the centers for me. And she's absolutely phenomenal. And so she's running the centers now. She does all the day-to-day stuff and I get to do my other business. And so now I have 2 other things that I'm doing. Do you want me to go into what those are?
Yeah, I would love to. What I want to pause and say is that First of all, I love the fact, and I want to just honor the fact that you gave yourself permission to shift, right? So instead of feeling like I've created this whole thing, I have to stick with it, da 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 da, like I can't go do this other dream or pursue these other passions. I think it's important for the listeners to hear that part, that yes, you built these beautiful centers, millions of dollars in business, like it's very, very successful. And you figured out a way to give yourself permission to explore another part of you, another side of you, another passion that you had. So I think that's really a beautiful moment to make sure that people understand that it's okay to do that. It's okay,
And
right?
it's better if they just realize, as you just said, like, I should give myself this permission. This would be
Right.
lovely.
Yes,
That's not exactly how it happened for me. I was
sure.
in a really, really bad car accident last
Wow.
October, and
Hmm.
I could not work for 3 months. I couldn't look at a screen. I got a concussion and had post-concussive syndrome. So I couldn't look at a screen. I literally could not do anything. And so it was during that time that I realized that I had been receiving messages for a long time to slow
Wow.
down and to
Wow.
shift. And I
Yeah.
hadn't been listening well enough.
Yeah.
And so I think God was like, okay, well, now you're going to listen to me. And thankfully I did. And I wasn't bitter about it. I wasn't angry. Like, I'm grateful that I had that experience and that I was given the time to just where I literally could do nothing but lay and like pray and journal. And so I was able to receive those messages because I was open to them. But I had not been open ahead of time. And so something
Yeah.
so drastic had to happen for me to get to the place where I was like, okay, the message is clear. It's time to move forward.
Noted. Yeah. Okay, so let's pause there because I think that's also another important point of the truth is, because I always love to stand in the truth. The truth is, what is the truth? The truth is we are always given messages for guidance and redirection, right? And sometimes when we get a little distracted or we're not, like you said, you weren't paying attention necessarily for that message, and so you had to receive it in a way that caused some suffering and required you to stop and redirect and reset. And what I want to say is that it almost feels like that's kind of the theme for 2020 is a reset. Like we were all forced to stop and to pause
Mhm.
and to really think about what it is that we want our life to look like, feel like. Who do we want to be? Like, how do we want to grow? How do we want to shift and change? Are we happy and satisfied and fulfilled and dare I say thrilled with what our lives look like? Like, why wouldn't we want to go down that path? And I think you got a head start in October with that accident, and I'm so glad that you're 100% feeling better. By the way, that's so good and so lovely that you were able to come full circle. Um, but for those of you that are listening that are in that space of what the hell 2020, right? Like what am I supposed to do now? And maybe you realize that you don't want to work 6 7 days a week in crazy number of hours. Maybe you want to spend more time with your family. Maybe you want to spend more time traveling or so on and so forth. So I think it's beautiful that you were able to take that time and really revitalize, like what else is coming, what else is possible. Okay, so let's dive into now the now what, because obviously you weren't able to do all the
Well,
wild and crazy traveling adventures,
can I say one more thing about what
right? And so
you're
now
talking
you,
about
yeah,
before we move forward?
yes,
So
of course.
I just want to share what I do now. And I know you have a really cool practice around this too. But now, since the
That's what
accident,
I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. So it's perfect. Yeah.
okay, I've created this journaling practice where I now every single day ask,
That's
Lord,
good.
what do you want me to know today? And I
Yeah.
sit there until I've downloaded all the messages that I'm being given that day. And I do it every single day because I don't want to miss another important message.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad you said that. So the words are, what do I need to know today? Yeah. And I do that. I do a similar version of that question. And then it's also, what do I need to say? Who do I need to speak to? Like, who do I need to connect with? And you're right. If you pay attention enough and you do it consistently, those words come and the people come to mind, or the thoughts, or the really the divine inspirations of what you want to create. And I know that now, through probably all of that transition and all that time, you've gotten really, really clear on what you want to create now and what you want to do next and how you want to serve. And I'd love for you to share with the listeners kind of what that looks like, because I know that as you've shared it with me, it feels so exciting. And that's really part of why I wanted you to come and be on this episode of the Soul Centered CEO Show, because to me, you are embodying what that looks like and feels like, and you're using your greatest gifts to serve at the highest level and create beautiful ripples of expansion and abundance and success for so many others, which is really what we're really about here too. Because the way I always think of it is the more we make, the more we can serve, and ultimately the more we can give. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about kind of how you've evolved in 2020 and what you're doing now and what you're passionate about and how you're serving today.
Absolutely. So as you talked about before, I was supposed to in March leave to travel around the world for a year and just take this time off in between kind of stepping out of the day-to-day of the one business and diving into my new business. But because of COVID, I just ended up diving right in.
Yep.
And so I'm doing two things now, and both of them I'm super passionate about and super excited about. So one is when I was leaving the counseling centers, I was thinking about how, well, actually several years before I left, I kind of started this process, but thinking about how I could bring mental wellness to people on a larger scale. And especially people who aren't interested in participating in therapy, but are interested in personal growth, in personal development. I wanted to see how can I bring them these same skills so they can learn these skills and really be their best self, so that they can truly, my mission in life is to empower people to know that they are lovable, they are valuable, and they are capable. And so through this, so what I did was I created an online course. It's called Being Your Best Self. And it is personalized to each individual user. So they complete a survey, and then based on their survey, it's a really extensive survey. And then based on their survey, their personalized course is created. And it's anywhere from a 6 to 12 month course that they're going through at self-paced. They do it on their own, but it's teaching them all of these skills to really be their best self. And there's all kinds of motivation built into the course to help encourage them and motivate them. And so that is available to individuals, but the main way I'm working to get it into the world is through corporations purchasing it for their employees as part of their employee wellness program. So we can really reach the highest number of people to help all of them to know, all of them who are open to knowing that they truly are lovable, they truly are valuable, and they truly are capable of achieving their highest goal, highest dream.
Yep.
And so that's one piece of what I'm doing. And then the second piece of what I'm doing, which I'm also really excited about, is I'm doing business coaching. So I'm an elite strategy coach, and I work with already successful entrepreneurs to help them scale their business, to help them create, prioritize, and efficiently execute a plan to scale their business and exceed their profit goals, so that they can get, to where they want to be in their business and beyond where they even currently see as possible.
Right. It's so wonderful that you're able to leverage, what you've learned and how you can apply that to really any business. Because what you said earlier was around the way that you scaled your company was to create systems and processes and just have people replicate it. I mean, that's it. That's really it, outsource as much as you can and be able to scale. So I love that you're bringing those, your experience and your resources to business owners to allow them to step into that next level. That's a lot of what we're talking about with this Soul-Centered CEO movement is how do we get as many entrepreneurs, business leaders, and owners from 6 to 7 figures in the least amount of time, right? How do we get them there quickly and efficiently? And I'm so excited that actually you're going to be part of our gathering. We are doing a 3-day, for those of you that are tuning in, a really beautiful 3-day experience called The Gathering, because if any of you are in my world for any length of time, you know how much I love to be heart to heart, belly to belly. Like I love to be with people. I love to create beautiful experiences in real life. But in lieu of that, we are doing something really beautiful. And actually, Lindsay is going to be part of that. And you're going to be one of our featured guests during this, what we're calling the $1 Million Roundtable. And it's really this kind of a fireside chat with 7-figure and beyond business owners that are willing to share some of their, super top secret tips. Or, we have one that has like made millions, lost it, made it again, and sharing like the behind the scenes of that, right? Because I think there's so much learning that can come from that whole experience, right? So I'm just really excited to have you, Lindsay, as part of that conversation and part of our overall community as well, because I feel like, again, you are embodying so many of the benefits, so many of the elements of what it means to be a soul-centered CEO. So I'm really excited for you to join us for that. So is there anything that you would like to share with the listeners, again, around just if they have a big dream, if they have a big vision for something they want to bring to the world? Do you have, obviously I love the journaling idea, because to me that is a beautiful way to stay in divine alignment and inspiration. But I would love for you to share if there's anything else that you'd like to leave them with in terms of how to move themselves forward as quickly as possible with as much ease and grace as well.
Yeah, I love it. Well, first, I guess the most important thing is just to believe that you absolutely can do it. Hands down, you for sure can accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish. And it might take you several tries to get there, but there's no such thing as failure if from each failure you are learning and growing and figuring out, okay, well, this one didn't work. What's my next step going to be? How am I going to take that and learn from it and try something different? And you just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying until you get where you're going. And what Haley was saying about getting there, as quickly as you can and with ease and grace, the best way to do that is to talk with people who have been where you want to go, to be able to find out, how did they get there? What did they do? So that you don't have to make the same mistakes that they made. You can make your new mistakes, but you'll get there faster with, guidance or support from someone who's already been where you're looking to go.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's so important. And I think allowing ourselves to be supported is really, really important too, that we don't have to do this alone. That's another one of the things that we talk a lot about in this Soul-Centered CEO, is that we can be surrounded by like minds with big dreams and big hearts, and that have a heart for service and are willing to collaborate and really build that community and connect in a way that we know that we're not alone, because like you said, you were a solopreneur, you got started on your own, and then you're able to build and grow. A lot of people, it takes a long time for them to be able to become more than a one-man show, right? And so I love that that you kind of also just embody that in terms of building a community and a supportive way of getting where you want to go with ease and grace, because you're willing to ask for support and for the help. So I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for just taking your time and for sharing your wisdom with us. And I'm so excited for the journey that you're on. It's just been really beautiful to watch you just expand, right? And keep dreaming and shifting. We all have had to do that. And so it's been really sweet to watch your journey unfold. And I'm really, really excited to see what is coming next for you, because it feels really, really good. And I feel like, that course is going to be out into millions of lives, and you're going to help so many people build the business of their dreams. So I love it. So excited for you.
Thank you, Haley. Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to talk about all of this. And thank you so much for what you're doing with the collective and just what you're creating to allow people to be part of, to get that support and to help lift them up to the vibration that they will benefit from, collectively.
Yeah. Well, I just believe that when one of us rises, we all rise. And the more I can help you make your dream come true, and then the next one and the next one, what a beautiful way to do life. Like, why not? Like, why wouldn't we do it that way? So it is an honor. It's an honor to have you on this journey with us and in the community. And for those of you that are listening, I hope that you will check out the links that are provided to be with us for either the gathering, which is happening November 11th, 12th, and 13th. And also, if you just feel called to join us in the collective as well, we'd be honored to have you. So thank you so much for being here with us. And Lindsay, thank you again for your time. Love you so much.